Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and we're going to do the last of the series. We might do more, but this is at this point the last of the series. And we're going to talk about house evaluation. So, what is my house worth after NESARA starts up? Okay, so we would have the EBS, the EAS, then Trump brings in NESARA. So we're talking about America here, but it's relatively the same around just SARA for around the world. So again, I'm making up values and just relative values. Okay. So let's just say, for the heck of it, please don't get all sideways about this. I'm just making up numbers. Okay. Let's just say your house is worth, let's just say the house is worth $300,000. Okay, it's pretty common value if we just look, nationwide here, because house values have gone up quite a bit. It's really not very effective because they're having, that it's gone up a lot over the last 20 years or so. But let's just say it's 300,000. Okay, and let's say that you have put 20% down on the house to get away from principal and mortgage interest rates. So that would be 20% or $60,000 down. So that means that you would have, you would put down or be financing $240,000. Okay. So you have $60,000 of equity and $240,000 that you're financing. Okay. So you have a payment, you have payment interest, you always have the property tax. And by the way, property tax is, I get this question all the time. Property tax is not going to be handled by NESARA. Property tax is a state-run issue. In some places, property tax is not an issue in the states. Another one, it is. Property taxes after NESARA, so that has to be dealt with post NESARA. So if you want to become a state senator, that's going to be your job to kill off property tax. It has nothing to do with NESARA. So, okay. So you have $60,000 of equity in your house. Okay. So now NESARA walks in and it kills off your all that your house was worth. So for instance, it's paid off your house and you're like, yay, right? So that $240,000 your house is now fully paid off. So the moment that NESARA occurs, when the QFS goes in, the sovereignty of the QFS happens. It wipes out the debt. And if you don't understand that, you need to go back to my NESARA shorts and talk about wiping out the debts. Okay. I know some of you go, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. Calm down, because you need to go watch my fairness conversations. I do a lot of those kinds of things right now. Stop with the fairness conversations and go over and watch those again. Okay. So you have a $300,000 house, but let's just say everyone had a $300,000 house in your particular market. So you have 500 houses in your particular area and in your housing division, and approximately everyone's at about the same number. But what happens is that we have now a gold-backed currency. When we have a gold-backed currency, and we've also changed into inflation, we've killed inflation and we've made it a zero inflation. So what means is that our gold-backed currency has increased the value of the currency. On the other end of it, the values of anything else, of the prices, will start to drop. Now, some of the most instantaneous drops of things will be soft values. What are soft values? like health insurances. There's artificial prices in there. I mean, really, what is the value of health insurance? It's whatever they want to make it. They could actually pull off the price of that by 20% and really not kill anything. What's the value of services like that? And now I'm not talking about massage therapy or anything like that that has a little bit more hardened value based upon the person's ability to actually keep in business. But we're talking about health insurance that those people make $1 billion quarters. Okay, it's not a different conversation. So we know there's a lot of corruption in health insurance. So when we talk about those kinds of things, those are going to have really quick drops. But guess what? Houses have a massive amount of overvaluing, and that overvaluing has been happening based upon massive overinflation. So we have massive overinflation and massive overvaluing because they could. And we've had that same massive valuing in the car business too. See, I mean, cars that 2 or 3 years, or trucks, for instance, used to be, $50,000 trucks. You could buy them in 2021, 2022 that were $100,000 trucks, and you got a massive overvalue of a truck that when you drove off the lot, the thing is now worth $40,000. So you got a $60,000 overvalued truck. It's the same thing that's been happening with houses. So now you've got an overvalued house. So in that overvalued house, where the market is now way overvalued, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows that you have zero invested in that house. Basically, they know that you've had it paid off. So you might say, well, you know what? Our family's kind of been needing to move anyway. We've been really wanting to move to make up a number, 100,000 bigger house, $100,000 more bigger of a house. So we wanted to go from a 2,500 square foot house to a 3,000 square foot house for whatever reason. And so we want to do that. And you think that your house was worth 300,000, but now it's not. And you're going to be ticked off that you could only sell it. Here's the kicker. The kicker is now it's not 300,000, but the house values around you, it's called the comp or the comparatives. The house values will change. And it will take maybe a couple months. If you do it fast enough, you might be able to kick the comp, but the comps might change relatively quickly. Excuse me, relatively quickly to 200,000. It might go down a third. It might even move to $170,000 house from 300,000, $170,000 house. And you're saying, wait a second. I had this one friend of mine. His name is Jeremy. And he was like, well, I'd be pissed off with that. And I was like, wait a second. What do you mean you'd be pissed off with that? And he goes, well, I lost value in my house. I said, wait a second. What do you mean you'd be pissed off about that? Well, I lost value in my house. Hold on a second. Think about this for a second. Before NESARA, you had a value or a equity in your house of $60,000 on a $300,000 house. After NESARA, you have a paid off house and you have a $170,000 house. Let's just say in that circumstance. How much more equity do you have? That means you've gained $110,000 of equity. Now, the comp is going to be greater when you go to the new house. So for instance, if you went from 300,000 to 400,000 in a pre-NESARA timeframe, that if you're going to buy that new house now, it's probably going to move to, let's say it's 220. So you bankroll that $110,000 into a $220,000 house, and you're going to have to maybe finance $110,000 into a house, which is a lot lower number. And here's the kicker. One of the things that we do know is there's not going to be compound interest in housing, because that is the ugly part of the industry that we are going to be seeing die. So there, we're going to see loans that are going to be simple interest, or fee-based loans, or some type of way that banks are not going to be making those ugly types of interest. So you are going to see banks changing their whole response to this. So, for instance, the payments are going to be hugely much more efficient. So, even if you got back into some level of debt because you upgraded your house, which is good for the real estate agent to have a new house payment. I mean, so she sold a new house. You bought a new house, which is, doing good for that, the economy, because you have sales tax in that, because there is sales tax. And it's good because you upgraded to a new house, and you might have to buy new furniture, which is a good thing for the economy, the local economy. But you're not having it. You've taken away your house payment to a nothing, but you've actually only just increased your house payment just a tiny fraction of what you did before. Now, a lot of people go, you know what? I'm staying alone. I don't have any house payment. And now I can afford a lot more in my life because now I have zero debt. And so we have a lot of wonderful things that are going to be happening. And I think one of the things that a lot of people are going to have without having a mortgage debt, see, that kind of mortgage debt could mean people, instead of having $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month payments, excuse me, could be rolling that thing into retirement funds, could be rolling that into a savings plan, because many people only have 2 or 3 weeks of savings. So I'm going to be recommending to people down the road is they find a way to create savings plans so that you have 2, 3, 6 months, 8 months of savings, so that if you lost your job or something critical happened in your life, or you had to move for some reason and then something occurred, that you wouldn't be out of luck, right? Or if, you had dual income, no kids, and then suddenly your wife wanted to stay home with the kids for a longer time frame, that'd be okay. Or, a divorce happened, or something, crazy occurred in your life, you'd be okay with just that one person being at home with the kids, or whatever that circumstance occurs. See, that's intelligence, and that's staying within your budget. This is what needs to happen. And so you need to be really rethinking that. And I think that's going to be the new modus operandi that is going to be occurring when we have some of these massive debts floating away from us. So I went a little bit longer here because I really wanted to give you a couple extra thought processes that are coming out by losing some of these massive debts out there. So I hope that helped you out. I hope that gave you some food for thought, some other ideas out there. Again, you can go on to Dr. Scott Young. You can kind of download my outline in there. You can kind of look at that and gets you some information that gives you a lot more information about what happens with NESARA. But I thank you so much for everything.